My name is Danielle, and I'm a certified child life specialist. My role is to help support patients and families in the hospital. We wanted to create this video to provide you with the tools to talk with your family about breast cancer. A new breast cancer diagnosis can be extremely overwhelming with a tremendous amount of information to process. There are many factors that will play into deciding how you will tell your children about breast cancer. This video will discuss children's development, behavior, and common reactions, as well as appropriate language and sample dialogue regarding treatment. We hope the following information will help encourage and empower you to talk with your children about breast cancer. Most parents and caregivers will feel some level of uncertainty when deciding to talk about breast cancer with children. Instinctively, we want to protect children from harm or any damaging information. However, avoiding truths and ignoring facts to protect children can often be more harmful than helpful. Children can deal with even devastating truths when told appropriately. If you are unsure about talking to children about breast cancer, remember, children are clever and intuitive. If they suspect that something is being kept from them, it may lead to anxiety, fear, or insecurity. Children may also find out through eavesdropping, or perhaps someone else may unintentionally talk about it in front of them. Feelings of rejection and mistrust may occur and can often be difficult to repair. When hesitant about the conversation, consider enlisting the help of a trusted friend, family member, or child life specialist. Before you talk to your children about cancer, experts recommend that you have as much information as possible about the diagnosis, including the specific type of cancer, treatment, and prognosis. The more you understand about your diagnosis and treatment, the better you can personalize the conversation. You can specifically address what treatment means and how it will affect you and your family. While it is necessary that you give yourself sufficient time to feel comfortable and prepared with the information, try not to avoid or unnecessarily delay talking with children. Delaying the discussion increases the risk that they will find out in a non-supportive way, creating trust issues and further anxiety. There are no set rules or guidelines. The developmental stage and personality of the children will play a large part in explanations and their degree of understanding. Be open, honest, and truthful in your conversation. Have confidence in the fact that you know your children best. Take a deep breath and begin.
Yes, I was initially very scared of talking to my son about having breast cancer. I was really unsure whether or not to tell him. I had to tell him something because the inevitable changes that were going to happen over the next few months, and he would obviously know that something was wrong with me.
I prepared myself by I didn't know what I wanted to tell him or how much I wanted to know.
Our thoughts about the conversation with telling Grace the diagnosis and what was going to happen, there weren't a lot of thoughts that were associated with it because it is what it is. It's black or white. You're going to tell her or not tell her, have all the information with her. So we didn't really much have to consult about that. We just knew that's what was going to happen.
I would tell parents who need to have the conversation to be honest with their children. And I would also take into consideration their age.
I would have researched a lot more on my treatment. I think I kind of just jumped the gun on a lot of things and didn't prepare myself for any of it. You know, was diagnosed the Friday, was already having surgery that Tuesday. So that was one of the things that I would definitely change. I would definitely change the way I talk to my kids about it, maybe waiting a little bit to get more information on it and make sure of everything that I was going to be doing before I talk to him about it, especially Juan, being that he understands a little bit more. I mean, just don't be scared to talk to them. Like, they understand a lot more than you know and more than you think.
Yeah, I tell the parents to tell their kids that they have it or she has it. And don't be afraid to tell them, because that just makes it worse.
Rehearse. Sometimes going over things first makes it easier to organize your thoughts. It can also be beneficial to have this person present during the discussion if you get stuck or are having a hard time. Set the tone. The developmental levels of the children will play a large part in explanations and their degree of understanding. This can be an overwhelming topic. It is healthy for you to show emotion as it sets an example of effective coping. Explain. Tell or show them where the cancer is on the body. When describing the area, breast is the best word choice as it is the anatomically correct term. For younger children, describing cancer as being sick or having an illness is usually enough, but be sure to add that you cannot catch cancer like a regular cold. For older children, you can describe cancer in terms of cells. For example, our bodies are made up of lots of different parts like bones, skins, and muscle. Each of these things is made up of tiny little parts called cells. Cells are so tiny you can't even see them without a microscope. Most of our cells stay healthy, but sometimes cells change and become unhealthy. Unhealthy cells can become cancer. Treatment plan. Surgery, chemotherapy, or radiation may be part of the treatment plan that the doctor feels will be most effective for you. You will also want to discuss how some of the treatments might make people feel sick or look different. For example, loss of hair, extreme tiredness, weight loss, or gain. During this time, you may want to allow children to participate in care. Giving special tasks or altering favorite activities allows them to feel a sense of involvement. Be honest. Keep in mind that different diagnoses mean different things for different people, and outcomes will vary. Your treatment status and plan of care can change at any moment. Inaccurate or unrealistic information can lead to issues of mistrust. Reassure. Try to keep children on a regular schedule as much as possible. Prepare children for any changes that may occur and identify people who will be around more often.
So it wasn't one set conversation. We kept very simple information at the beginning, and then we just continued to have the conversation as things changed and as the treatment plan changed. And because of her age, she didn't want a lot of information, so I'd ask her if she'd have questions, anything she'd want to talk about.
The types of words that we used to communicate with Grace, the information that we had, it was real basic. She was 6 years old. She's well versed in a lot of things, more so than most children, so we were very open with her. We explained to her that there were some information that I have cancer, and that we were going to take it out and we were going to fix it, and that was going to be it. So we shared everything with her. The breast center offered up some books from their library that they found. One of them in particular was My Mommy's Mastectomy, and it showed her the stages that was going to happen because I had both removed, and chemotherapy with the baldness and all that stuff.
I told my son that I had cancer. It was the night or the day that I found out that when I was diagnosed with cancer, and I had been going back and forth, trying to figure out what to tell him, how to tell him. And so I called my ex-husband over and some other family members, and we decided to have a family meeting. For me, I just wanted to reassure him that no matter how sick and how different I looked, that I was still the same. I was still the same mom. I would still ground him don't take advantage of me because I may look like I can't get out of bed and do things that I couldn't before, but I'm still mom.
Conversations about cancer can be extremely overwhelming for children. This can create questions that may be difficult to answer. Be prepared. Answer all questions as accurately as possible. Be sure that if you do not know the answer to the question, you acknowledge that you do not know, but add that you will try to find out and let them know as soon as possible. Here are some common questions that children may ask.
I felt out of everybody. Why me? Why my family? Why my mom? Why did we have to go through this? What did we do that was so bad that we had to go through this?
Mostly, why weren't you gonna have any more breasts? Why were they gonna be gone? What were they gonna do? How were our hugs gonna be different?
I just asked her what is chemo, and I didn't know if it was like a pill or some medicine you drink, or just, of course, they just inject it into your system or something like that.
My thoughts were like, will she die from this? Will she be good? Will she get the right care and stuff?
So, did you have lots of questions that you were wondering about?
Thousands.
What kinds of questions did you have?
Like, what is chemotherapy? How long will this go on? Will she survive?
Different coping mechanisms can affect emotions and behaviors. After talking to children about a cancer diagnosis, it is important to observe how they react to the information presented. Understanding each unique developmental stage will help you address your child's individual needs. Infants and toddlers. Even the youngest infants and toddlers can sense change within the family. They experience the abundance of emotions their family members are feeling and are sensitive to stress within their environment. For this age group, the key issues are meeting their basic physical and emotional needs. Preschool. Children at this stage engage in a lot of magical thinking. Often their thoughts are very creative and exaggerated. They also typically believe that illness or death can be caused and even reversed by their own thoughts or feelings. At this age, children do best learning and coping through play. School age. School-age children have a more realistic understanding of illness. You may need to provide significant amounts of information to help them feel involved in the plan of care and treatment. Adolescence. Most adolescent behavior is extreme and unpredictable. For the most part, teenagers are very involved in what is going on in their own lives. Some may act unaffected by the situation, while others may be more emotional.
So many things that we didn't really know what chemo was going to be like. So we were just confused as to what that would be like.
My parents come home and they pretty much told me that my mom has breast cancer. And I remember I had a Mountain Dew in my hand and I was just like, this really sucks, really badly. And I went into my room and I cried for a little bit, and then eventually I just fell asleep.
When I was 7, I started to realize that it wasn't just some random disease that they didn't know. They knew it was cancer, I just didn't know.
after she was diagnosed, I just felt really afraid and confused of what was happening and what would happen to her.
I was pretty worried. It seemed like it was like a huge impact on my life, and it feels like everything that I remembered just completely stopped.
Quality time with your children is an essential part of the healing process. It is just as important for you as it is for them. There are several activities that you can still engage in or alter, although your time and energy may be lessened.
When me and Hannah, my sister, when we were younger, we always had like a family night where all of our family, we'd get together and like play board games or watch a movie. So we always did that like every Friday night, so that was really nice.
I just wanted to spend a lot of time with him. We would just kind of watch TV and crawl into bed together and not really talk about anything, just be together.
But the family time increased at home with just valuing what was there and enjoying everything.
After a certain time of her have been doing chemo, then she'd be like, girls, like, I'm good right now, like, let's go do something fun. And then we'd all, like, go see a movie or go get our nails done or something.
Get out of the house. Short episodes of behavioral or emotional changes in your children are normal. Be conscious of and try to understand the meaning behind the behavior rather than reacting to it. Also be sure to inform your child's teacher of your cancer. This will help the teacher understand any inconsistent behavioral changes. Ask that you be notified immediately of any issues that need to be addressed. If and when issues come up, it is best to start by simply talking to your children. Ask them what is going on and why they are feeling or behaving the way they are. If you have established a strong bond of communication from the beginning, simply talking to your child is often enough to fix the problem. However, if you start noticing long periods of sadness, being withdrawn, or severely disruptive behaviors, it may be time to seek additional help. Support groups for children, school counselors, and child life specialists can all be called upon to help facilitate the coping process.
So I think that he was lashing out and just trying to cope with what was going on at home. And that was difficult for me because I really just wanted him to do well in school. But I had to look at it from his perspective. You know, his mom has stage 3 breast cancer, and you know, he doesn't really know what's going to happen, even though I was constantly reassuring him. It must have been a real heavy load for him to have to deal with. I did take him to a therapist just to kind of sort out what he was feeling and address some of the issues and the behavioral issues in school, which I thought was very helpful.
We hope that the information provided in this video has given you the confidence you need to speak with children about breast cancer. Remember, start by preparing yourself, stay open and honest, and let your children guide the conversation.
She came a warrior, I guess. Like, she can go through anything if she wanted to.
Do you think that asking questions and having your parents talk to you about things made it easier for you?
Yes, it did.
What else did they do that helped make it easier for you?
They bought like coloring books that explained cancer and stuff and how was I feeling that, and had questions that said how are you feeling and expressing my feelings, and buying books that said that were about cancer. They like explained it to me.
One of the things that happened when I was going through chemotherapy, I was bald, and I was shopping with him at a grocery store and had a beanie on my head, and I had a really bad hot flash, and we were going through the checkout line, and I took my beanie off, and I looked sick, obviously, and he must have noticed that people were staring at me, and he grabbed my head and kissed my head in the middle of the checkout and hugged me and walked out with me. He didn't say a word, but he knew. He knew that people were looking, and he wanted to, I think, show everyone, hey, yeah, this is my mom, and she has cancer, and I love her.
Do you think that there were things that you could have done like yourself differently that maybe would have changed like how she was feeling, or like adding to her care almost?
Treating her like a mom, not like a person with breast cancer. Yeah.